Welcome to Chronicler 101 for the Middle Kingdom. My name is the Honorable Lady Lynne Fairchild. What to expect, or what experience do I have to teach this class? During my SCA career, I've been the chronicler for the College of St. Joan, which is in the Barony of Flaming Griffin, the Barony of Phoenix. I was the chronicler for the Barony of Phoenix for about 5 years total. And I was previously the South Oaken Regional Chronicler, and I'm also currently the South Oaken Regional Chronicler. I'm also the North Oaken Regional Chronicler, and I'm also the Deputy Chronicler for the Kingdom. What does the chronicler do? Think of it as being the group's secretary or historian. You need to report and you need to publish. The online quarterly reports are due on January 1st, April 1st, July 1st, and October 1st. And the baronial and principality reports are due on January 15th, April 15th, July 15th, and October 15th. The reports are fairly simple, and I've got a picture of it to show you what all is involved in the reports later in the slides. And also with your reporting, notify your superior officers if you come up with any issues. As far as publishing, baronial chroniclers are required to produce quarterly newsletters that are available online and upon request on paper. Local groups such as cantons and shires, as well as regional chroniclers, are not required to make a quarterly newsletter, but they're encouraged to provide submissions to other newsletters, or you may produce your own newsletter if you so choose. Just a little tidbit, when I was the South Oaken Regional Chronicler previously, there was an Oaken Regional newsletter called the Quercus. That was back in like 2008, 2009. And in that newsletter, I just collected different articles from the baronial letters, and then I was able to add those with people's permissions. I was able to add items to the regional newsletter. So how can you become a chronicler? At a meeting, it will be mentioned that the current chronicler is looking for a deputy or is interested in stepping down and needing a replacement. Depending on your group, local or baronial, you should mention that you are interested in the position. And then at the next meeting, a vote may take place by those present to vote a candidate into that position. If you're interested in a regional position, then you need to submit your SCA resume to the Kingdom Chronicler and follow any other instructions to apply for the regional job. Once the job has been secured, the next step is to fill out the change of officer form and become warranted. So what does the change of officer form look like? On the left-hand side, you'll see the change of officer form. The outgoing officer fills out the portion on the top left-hand side of the form. The incoming officer fills out the portion on the top right-hand side of the form. Other group officers sign the form, if possible, on the bottom left-hand side, and then the incoming officer prints and signs their name on the bottom right-hand side. Copies of this form should go to the Kingdom or Regional officer, while the original form stays with the branch's files. What do you mean by warranted? Per the Chronicler's Handbook, a warrant is necessary for your publications to be considered official publications of your group. A warrant confers upon the chronicler of all the rights and responsibilities of the office. Training is necessary so that the Kingdom Chronicler is satisfied that the trainee is aware of the following: legalities such as, but not necessarily limited to, copyright and fair use, how to use the permission forms, reporting requirements, and use of images and publications. To become warranted in the Middle Kingdom, the following must be done. You must file a change of officer form with the Kingdom Chronicler, participate in a training class held by the Kingdom Chronicler or the designated deputy, and publish on a regular basis. What are the job requirements for a local chronicler? A local chronicler needs to take meeting notes, submit quarterly reports, publish a quarterly newsletter, but that's optional, and then notify the baronial chronicler if there are any issues or questions. Regional or kingdom chroniclers can also assist, but first I would suggest going to your baronial chronicler. On the right-hand side of the screen is the form for a copyright assignment or grant of use form. And this is the form that would be filled out if someone were to give you their artwork or anything else, a document, anything that they would like to include in the newsletter. They would need to fill out their legal name, their SCA name, what it is, if it's a poem, if it's artwork, an article, could be a recipe, and then they have their options. They could select option 1 and give the full assignment of copyright, or the other options, they can select as many as they want. If they want it to be published only electronically, no more than however many times they want in the publication, and then they need to sign the bottom, and then the chronicler needs to keep a copy of this. What are the job requirements for a baronial chronicler? You need to take meeting notes, submit quarterly reports, publish a quarterly newsletter, become warranted, notify the regional if you have any issues or questions. The Kingdom Chronicler, again, can also assist if needed. And on the left-hand side of the screen is a copy of the photograph grant of use form. And again, the person submitting the photograph would need to put their legal name, their SCA name, what they want their picture to be entitled, and then they also select how often they want that photograph to be published, if they only want it on a website, or how they want it published, and then sign and date at the bottom. And again, the chronicler needs to keep a copy of this. What are the job requirements for a regional chronicler? Once again, you need to submit quarterly reports, become warranted, verify that all baronial chroniclers in your region are warranted and submitting quarterly reports, provide assistance and answer questions where needed, keep the service portal updated with chronicler information, notify the Kingdom Chronicler if you have any questions or issues. And on the right-hand side of the screen, I've got the SCA model release, and it's similar to the last two forms that I showed you. And I'm going to stop sharing for a moment and see if anyone has any questions so far. So sorry if I'm going too fast. If I go too fast, please let me know and I'll slow down. But so far, are there any questions? Going on? Okay, let me go back to sharing the screen. What items are specifically needed in a newsletter? There are 4 things every newsletter needs to have: the name of your group and the newsletter, a list of contacts for your group, a calendar or listing of events for the local area, and the standard disclaimer. On the right-hand side is a copy of the example that is in the Middle Kingdom's Chronicler's Handbook, and all that information is on just that one page. So hypothetically, your newsletter could be as simple and short as this one page. So how do you create a newsletter? A newsletter can be as simple as or as decorative as you want to make it. A newsletter can be put together on a Word document and then saved as a PDF. The PDF should then be added to the group's webpage. To be added to the group's webpage, what I would do is email the PDF to the web minister, and then the web minister can upload it to the group's webpage. And personally, I also like to also add the newsletter to the group's Facebook page, but that's my personal preference. You want to put out a call to your group and request submissions and release forms. While not required, it is recommended that chroniclers send copies to their majesties and their highnesses. That's per the Middle Kingdom's Chronicler's Handbook. You need to obtain releases for content such as artwork and text used in Midrealm communications. It keeps us all on the right side of the law. After the signed release form has been received, submissions such as artwork, photographs, articles, officers' letters, poems, recipes, etc., can be added to the newsletter. Now, for submitting the quarterly reports. When you go in to the services portal, you'll log in, and then on the left-hand side, you would click on Officer Reports. Under Officer Reports, click on Create an Officer Report and answer the questions, and then click Save. On this screen, I have copied and pasted an example of what a report would look like. This is from the first quarter for the Barony of Phoenix. And since I was the outgoing baronial chronicler at the time, I submitted this report. And this is all the questions you have for your quarterly report. You put in the year and the quarter that you're reporting, the group or the office that you are reporting for, your name, and then select yes or no if you've read the Society Handbook, if you've read the Kingdom Handbook, and if you have submitted this report. Then once you click Save, it will then come up with a few more questions at the bottom, and it asks, are you publishing a newsletter? If there are any other publications you are producing, if there's an online newsletter address, and if you have any comments or suggestions. After that, click Save, and you have submitted your quarterly report. What about taking meeting notes? Most groups, some have meetings once a month. That might change depending on if it's a local or baronial group. But whenever your group has meetings, you want to take down meeting notes during the meeting. You can take them down however you please. If you want to write it with pen and paper, type it up later. If you've got a tablet, if you have a laptop. If possible, type up the meeting notes as a Word doc, save it as PDF, and then send it to your group's web minister to put up on the group's web page. This may help with members who do not attend the meeting to know exactly what is currently happening. I also, for the Barony of Phoenix specifically, I would also put the notes up on the Facebook page because I found some people read the Facebook group page for our Barony, but may not have gone to the group's web page. But then there are some people who aren't on social media, so it helps to have it on the group's baronial webpage. You need to have it on the baronial webpage at least. The meeting notes, they don't have to be, they can be very simple, just simply like officer reports. The seneschal could say, report is due soon. Chatelaine, we have new people. Chronicler, report is due soon. And just go through. If officers aren't there, you can just simply say like the ANS minister was not present. If there's any old business, and type up whatever the old business was. If there was any new business, you can type that up. Now, there's also something to know about. It's called the William Black Fox Awards. Master William Blackfox was the author and illustrator of the cartoon Warthaven. He gave generously of his time and talents and was very supportive of the Kingdom Chroniclers until his untimely death. To honor his memory, the Office of the Society Chronicler sponsors the annual Master William Blackfox Awards to recognize excellence in the work of chroniclers and newsletter contributors. The Kingdom Chroniclers make the initial nominations from the works in their kingdom. All kingdoms are encouraged to participate and send in at least 2 nominations for each of the 8 categories. The results are announced each fall and are published in the kingdom newsletters, as well as the tournaments illuminated. And if you have any questions or suggestions, there's an email address to send your questions or suggestions to. The categories for the Black Fox Awards are Best Overall Newsletter, Best Layout and Design, Best Artwork, Best Special Edition, Best Special Interest Newsletter, Best Regular Feature, Best Article, and Best Poetry or Short Fiction. Do I have any words of advice? If you have the opportunity to become a deputy first, do it. It will help you learn new things and help ease you into the new job. And take a breath, you can do this. And here's my works cited page with the different web addresses. Are there any questions so far? No?
Big things.
Okay.
Like, last time I was a chronicler, I was doing like the Pale, the Kingdom newsletter, and we were doing it all in print at that time, which added a lot more steps, and you have to deal with the printers, and it was a lot more costly. Like I was one of the people that thought we really needed to go to digital. Talking about the same time you were looking 2006, 2007, that's where how much has changed between then and now.
Yes. I know as far as digital versus paper copies, there were times I would print off like a paper copy or two and take it to a baronial meeting just so people would see the newsletter, because I found a lot of people don't really read the online newsletter, and it's the same with the Pale, because before it was printed, it was mailed to your house, everyone saw it, and now it's all online and you actually have to make a conscious effort to go look for it and read it. But on the other hand, it is more cost effective.
Yeah, we were spending $50,000 or $55,000 a year in postage and printing costs to get. At that time, we had about 3,500 subscriptions in the Middle Kingdom, and that's what it ran us, which is a lot of money that we could put to better use, I think.
Yes. Well, let's see. Let me try to share some other screens here that give you an idea what some of the other things look like. Let's see. Okay, are you seeing these meeting notes?
Yeah, I can see them fine.
Okay. This is actually from the Barony of Phoenix, just to help give you more of an idea of what different things look like. This is from July 2019, and this is on the Barony of Phoenix's webpage. And you can see where there were officer reports, old business, as I scroll down, new business, and we also had a meeting about Pensick. Here's an example of the Barony of Phoenix's newsletter, also online on the Barony of Phoenix's webpage. And as you can see with the cover art, I had received the release form from the Honorable Lady Elizabeth Clerk. And so here with the picture, I note or put at the bottom that the cover art was by her. Then from there, I've got like a page, the contents page, the standard disclaimer that's here at the bottom on page 2, where it says what the issue is. The specific one is the spring 2019 issue. And then you just want to say it's a publication of the group that you're with for the Society for Creative Anachronism. And it's edited by and available from whoever the chronicler is and their address. And that's not corporate publication. And all that information is available in the chronicler's handbook. After that, here's the baronial officers page, a baronial calendar, events, and then we've got letters from like the outgoing baron and baroness, the incoming baron and baroness, a letter from the chronicler, and then here's also an article from the Honorable Lady Elizabeth Clerk, It's on Pocket Creative Games, and that was also something else that I had to get a release form before it could be added to the newsletter. And oh, and then there's also an article here regarding an event with information, and that's it for the newsletter. Let's see, I go here. I'm now on the Middle Kingdom webpage, and specifically the Middle Kingdom Chronicler's Handbook. It's only 11 pages long. And here it just gives you details like the introduction about the handbook, becoming a chronicler, training and warrants, being a chronicler, fair use, and then there's the example publication page that I had in the PowerPoint. So, and that the Chronicler's Handbook can be found on, if you go to the Chronicler's page on the Midrealm site, then you can select on the documents, and then this will pull up under the library. So here you go, Middle Kingdom Document Library. And also some of the other forms that are here are the release forms, like photography release form and the creative work copyright assignment. And then down here is the Handbook Chronicler, or the Chronicler's Handbook. And then here on the SCA webpage is the SCA Handbook for Chroniclers. And it's got a few more pages. Looks like 45 more or 45 pages. And then this is the SCA Chroniclers webpage, and this is more of the William Black Fox Awards. That's just something to keep in mind when you're making your newsletter. If you want to be considered for one of the categories, then I think, yes, if you go back here, it shows you all nominees and recipients from 2000 to the present, but I think the last one, if I remember correctly, was 2017, 2018, but you could still go back and look and see what other people did and get an idea. Yep, 2017 is the last one where you can look. But here it shows you, like for best overall newsletter, who the winner was, and also who was nominated. And then best layout and design, who was the winner, who was nominated. So you can look at the different newsletters and then just see what they did, maybe get ideas for how you want to design your group's newsletter. And to also give you an idea, this is what the Kingdom Chronicler's webpage looks like. The documents and forms link is here on the left-hand side. And then there's also a link for the Society Office of the Chronicler, a link for the PAL, the Midrealm history, and the Midrealm origins. And then the latest of the Chronicler. On the right-hand side is the reporting schedule, in case you forget. And for the services portal, let's see, that is, it got moved on me. Oh, under on the top right-hand side, member resources, if you pull the drop-down box, you'll see the service portal is the third one down. And I'm back again. Any questions so far? I mean, personally, I've enjoyed being a chronicler. I started as the College of St. John's chronicler back in, I believe that was 2002, 2003. I was the Oakham Regional Chronicler about 2008, 2009. And then since then, I've been a Barony of Phoenix as Chronicler twice. And now I'm doing both the South Oakland and North Oakland Regional Chronicler positions, as well as being the Kingdom Deputy Chronicler right now. I think if you're an organized person, this is probably going to be a very easy job for you to do. So at least the reports aren't too difficult. But, well, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask me.
I noticed that in the past, now I'm not sure with the chroniclers if this is the case, but you know, you have your individual login, like whatever offices I have as an individual, or in my login when I log in the services portal. I can't report on something like, let's say I was going to be the Oakland Regional Chronicler. I can't report until the web minister that oversees that adds that to my portfolio. It has to be added so that they know that I am that person, to be able to pull the drop-down menu and be able to report in that capacity. And I know that at one point that was taking a little bit of time to, you know, for it to work through the machine and stuff like that and get you added. Is that still the case? Doing it within a couple of weeks or something? Because if somebody there's a change of office right before your next report is due, you may not be able to immediately do that. You'll either have to have the previous person go on and do the report for you. If they're still hooked up, you might be at that point where they've been removed, but the new person's not been added. If that's still the case, and they may resolve that. I just don't know.
I know that at least with me, the Kingdom Chronicler, she can, once the change of officer form is submitted, the Kingdom Chronicler can change that, but also as a regional officer, I am able to also change the update person, and that helps the Kingdom Chronicler out because she has a lot on her plate. So once I get the change of officer form,
it might be a good idea
sorry?
not to change. It might also, like I was thinking, it might be ideally, it might not be a good idea to change offices like right before reporting schedule is due. You know, just so that, because that way you're not cramming everything afterwards. Somebody has to do something in order for you to get the services portal to work.
Yes, I know as being the regional chronicler, once I get the change of officer form, I'm able to log into the services portal and, like, say you sent me a change of officer form right now, I could log in and make you the new officer.
You could get it done within a matter of minutes if you wanted to. As long once you had notification, yeah. Okay. That's better than it was when we first went over to that system.
Yeah, I think it helps having both the regional and the Kingdom Chronicler on the same email. That way, if one's not able to do it, the other one can do it.
Yep, I can see that. Now, sure, other people must have questions besides me.
I see one. It says, are there any majority or major differences for this office in different kingdoms? Or is most of it the same throughout the SCA? Well, I don't know that I know the answer to that because I have lived my entire SCA life in the Middle Kingdom.
Atlantic and Drakenwald are very similar to ours. That's the two kingdoms I've been in. So I know that they at least are, and I think most everyone is pretty on the same sheet.
Yeah, I would think taking meeting notes and coming up with newsletters, that's the main part of the job. And I would think that would be the same across the board.
The only big difference I could think is if you're doing the Kingdom newsletter, which has certain other, like you have to put on all the courts, there's certain things that you have to do that a regional or local chronicler doesn't have to mess with. And you have to interface with a lot more people to get the information that you're dealing with, because you're dealing with folks around the whole kingdom, not just in a barony or shire. That's about the only thing I would think.
Yes, and also in the chat, I'm sorry, I know I'm going to mispronounce that name. CR said it's fairly consistent. There are a couple of details that are different. And my thing up. There are a couple things, or a couple of details that are different, but the handbooks cover that. And then Astrid said, okay, you're in Meridians and just took over the position for your shire. Sweet. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And I can help you along the way if if you need help. Oh, happy to know I was close enough on that name. I'm sorry for if I butchered it at all.
See, that would make you a herald if you're mispronouncing people's names. That makes you a herald, not a chronicler.
Yep. Nope. My husband does the heralding. I that's not my forte. I do better taking notes and being behind the scenes. Well, that's all I have. I think being a chronicler is fun, it's simple, but I've always enjoyed it, and I think that's why I keep doing it more and more. Oh, thank you. Astrid said that she learned a lot from listening, and I'm a very good teacher, so thanks.
Yeah, you're very thorough. I appreciate everybody that showed up.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, are you done? I'll go ahead and end the class if you're ready.
Yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Have a good night.